Let's talk shop about handhelds. They're very popular for one. Like you have your Switches and your DS's and your Wii U's. But I'm sure a lot of people have never heard of one of these. Now it might just look like a case, but I assure you, the case is not empty. As a matter of fact, what's inside of the case is probably one of the most important handhelds ever made. It was an absolute pioneer of technology, compatibility, portability, and storage. Now I'm going to peel this off and show you the handheld. This is a Sony PSP, otherwise known as the PlayStation Portable. Production started in 2004, and I believe it ended in either 2013 or 2014, but I could be wrong. They had 5 different models. I have the 3000 here. You can tell it's a 3000 because it's a little slimmer than the stock model, and the disk drive doesn't have a button, it just has a little slot. But there were 5 models: the 1000, the 2000, the 3000, the Go, and the Street. Now the funny thing about the Street is that it wasn't really released in many regions, and also, to back that up as well, it was only released in those regions because it was a more budget-friendly model. And for the PSP Go, it didn't even have a UMD drive. It just had digital only, which that went under. So, let's explore the features of the PSP. As you may notice, it only has one joystick, but that's okay. It was actually a bit of a common thing for handhelds at the time to only have one. It has a really nice D-pad though, translucent buttons. They have a nice click to them. The only thing about the buttons though is that the mapping is weird. You'd think your X is your X, but your X is actually your circle if you were to look at it as if you're playing on a PlayStation 3. Which, there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with the PlayStation 3 in this, but I'll get to that later. It also features things like music compatibility and an SD card and many other different things that you can do with it. Also, I feel like I've been yammering on a bit, so I'll just kind of get into the fine details of it. So, it doesn't take traditional games. It had these things, you might have heard me mention it a minute ago, had these things called UMDs. What this is, it's basically on par with the DVD, because these things ran a resolution of 480 pixels by 272 pixels, which isn't the highest, but for 2004 standards, that was pretty impressive. Because the DS, I believe, didn't even have 360p. One neat little thing about the PSP, though, is that it shares the same charging port as the controllers, so I believe that's called a Micro B, but I could be mistaken. Anyways, let's power the console on and scroll through all of the things that I've done with it. As you can see, I've uploaded a custom Ratchet and Clank theme. So, inside we have our game storage, our video storage, music, and you can actually get a camera attachment for this. Granted, it's not the greatest, it's only got 1.3 megapixels, which most phones now have, I believe, about 20 to 30 megapixels minimum. So it's definitely an acquired taste if you want to get into filming and taking photos with this. But it does have this really cool feature where you can connect it to the PS3 and you can download music, you can download games, saves, basically anything you could think of. You could just download it to it. Now I do have a CD loaded up onto it. I actually got some Nirvana. I'm working on getting more, but just to show you that it actually does come on here. I'm only going to play a couple seconds of it because I don't want to get copyrighted. But you bring up the menu and you get all these fun visualizers. Honestly, I like this one the most. It's just clean, simple, and effective. And another thing that makes this an actually like really nice MP3 player is the fact that it has, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a hold button. So what the hold button does is it makes it so that you can't push any of the buttons. It's very useful for if you have it in your pocket and you're just trying to listen to some music. And in case if you're wondering how it gets its storage, you simply just pull out the store and then you pop the memory stick out. And the memory sticks are actually pretty unique because it's a bigger card inside of a micro SD. Or rather, the micro SD is inside of the bigger card. Now I only got 16 gigs right now, and that's plenty for a couple games and at least 7 to 8 albums. But I am looking to upgrade in the future. I'd recommend 64 gigs because it's that perfect middle ground without affecting your performance too much. And it's definitely important for it to not affect your performance because it does chug a little with certain games. Like the frame rates aren't the greatest sometimes, but when they're solid, they're solid. Now let me load in a game. Actually, the only game I have as of current, because I actually just got this console. There's a funny story on how I got it. This is the Brilliant Blue. It's the shiny, almost metal flake kind of. And I got it from Play-Doh. It's Play-Doh Nippon on eBay. And they have tons of great deals on handhelds, including this one. I did pay a little more for this one, but the shipping was free, so that kind of cut a lot of the cost for me. It was about $120, but it's in really, really good shape, and it works perfectly. It was in Tsukuba, and it arrived from Tsukuba in Japan in about a week. So their shipping rates are very, very good. I definitely recommend them if you're looking to get into this console. And the game I'm playing currently is Test Drive Unlimited 1. I'm actually going to adjust so that the screen can be seen better and that my hands aren't in the way. So this is actually a port of a port, technically, because this game came out. Well, this game came out for a lot of platforms. It came out for the Xbox 360, it came out on PC, I think it came out in the Wii, it also came out in the PS2, I don't think it came out in the DS, but it did come out in this, and this is basically This is basically the PS2 port. I was talking for too long, so it went to the intro cinematic. Now, I have been playing for about a week now, so I'm fairly decently far. There we go. I can actually tour around my garage. These are the cars I have. We've got the Ford GT. Beautiful car, by the way. I can see why Jeremy Clarkson has one. And actually, even on a console that can only do 480p, it doesn't look too bad. The textures look pretty decent, considering this is not even a 4.5-inch screen. Try to reduce the glare of the light. And then I got this really nice Alpha. It's actually my first car that I got in this game. Figured it was a good all-rounder. Also, I'm a bit of an Alpha fan. And the thing about this game in particular is that it's really, really neat, because you just get to fully spec out your car. The exact rims, the exact color, interior, everything. It's not so much about intense visual customization, it's about tasteful factory mods. And that's part of why I love it. It's very refreshing from what the status quo has been. And then I have Mercedes CLK 55. This is actually the AMG version of the car. Very, very nice wheels. I tried to go for... I tried to go for that one car GTA. Those wheels kind of reminded me of the Benefactors. Those are very Benefactor style wheels. And I know that Benefactor is based off of Mercedes, so obviously they're going to have similar wheels. But I just like the thought of it. And then we got my Shelby. This is a very pretty car. Probably one of my favorites. Also, in my opinion, this is the best year for the GT500. I believe it's 1967. And before you make any jokes, that is the actual year of this car. Anyways. Now I have my 1969, I believe it's a C2 Corvette. Or no, this wouldn't be a C2, this would be an early, very early, maybe it is a C2. I don't know, I can't remember. I'm not very good with Corvette generations. But really, really nice green. And you can actually win a lot of cars in this game. You don't even have to really pay for cars that often. It is nice to buy your own car though, because you get to tailor it to your specifications. I chose to drive out Ford GT. And I think I'm just gonna do some cruising. This game actually has a pretty decent soundtrack.
Your destination is 2 miles away.
The speakers themselves aren't bad. It's just that the speaker quality. The only complaint I have is that it's a bit flat. I'm gonna enter a couple races. Oh, perfect. Looks like I know what I'm doing. Alright. So most of the races in this game are pretty simple. It's just a point to point. First one there is the winner. Now there are a lot of different race types other than this. Like you have time trials, and then you have races where there's more than 2 cars. You also have circuit races. And sometimes, only in the 360 version though, sometimes you had missions where you could deliver people, kind of like driving them around, where you could deliver cars to people, you know, that kind of stuff. Now my alpha is going to be a little faster because I got the full upgrade package. That's why, despite having the same car, there's such a noticeable difference. And that's the win. Alright. I think that about wraps up everything I wanted to say about this. I mean, there isn't much else to say. It's a nice console. It actually fits in your pocket. The battery life is pretty good too. I have a 1400 milliamp battery. I recommend that. If you go any higher, it's just gonna bulge out of the battery door. Because on the back of the console, there's actually a little battery. And just pop that off. And these Osten batteries, these are the best batteries you can get for this. As a matter of fact, unless if you're going for full OEM, you would want to get these. Because they're durable, they last a long time, and the charging time isn't too bad. You just put that back on, just pop it back into place. And yeah. That pretty much wraps up this review. See ya.